It's your boy, Sir Splash. Say you're gonna beat Splash, put it on the Bible. Whole game's trash, boy, put it on a cycle. Money talks, really, I don't understand. Said he wants smoke, but they all do the running man. What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Sir Splash, and today we have a fun video, especially for my Star Wars content lovers. Today, I've done this video before, but this is incredibly updated due to the amount of scaling and reading I've done since the prior video. Basically, this is who I consider to be the top 10 duelists in Star Wars. This will include EU, comics, legends, canon, all of it. Now, some of the things that I allow to be qualified for dueling, obviously lightsaber dueling, but I also count the Force as long as it's not an outward attack or defense. Basically, physical augmentation is allowed, precog, all of that, that's allowed, and physical strikes are allowed because that's incorporated in dueling. Besides that, it won't be, offensive or defensive Force attacks. So with that being said, let's get into my number 10. At number 10, I have Darth Bane. What styles did he use? He used the defensive form of Sarisu, which is pretty much a mastered blade defense technique focusing on the blade, and Gemso. Gemso is a defensive based style, very strong, and it is defensive like Sarisu, except it focuses on hitting back even harder. So it's a massive counter striking style. Now, why do I have him at number 10? Physically, he is superior to most duelists he'll ever come up against. He's about 6'7", 270 pounds, pure muscle, as well as a physical freak stacked with Force augmentation. He is extremely intelligent. He's well-versed. In fact, when he was learning how to fight as a duelist, it was remarked that he even surpassed the usage of actual forms. He could make his own. He had just learned everything. As well as, like I said, his skill and his hand-to-hand combat. He was a soldier prior to enlisting to become a Sith. And because of his size and his hand-to-hand combat, if he mixes it in with his lightsaber combat, you're in trouble because he hits like a train. Feats, some of his feats. 3 battle meditation using Jedi attacked him, and it was described as their 3 attacks, including Farfalla, who's a Jedi Master, were perfectly in sync, perfectly in harmony. They were as good as it could ever get, attacking from 3 sides. All it did was annoy Bane. Like they couldn't break his guard. They could annoy him and make him not attack them all at the same time, but they only pushed him back slightly. It didn't really do anything. He bodied Kasim. Kasim was one of the most prestigious battle masters of his time and was said to be able to cycle through all 7 lightsaber forms fluidly, no issue. Also, real quick, if you want to see me make a video ranking the lightsaber styles, I could do that for you. Anyways, and he also held off and did not get touched by a drop of rain in a rainstorm for several minutes. It was completely dry using just blade defense against all of the raindrops. So yeah, he was a physical freak and very intelligent, very skilled, and that's why he's my number 10. Number 9, the GOAT, the god of the high ground, ObiWan Kenobi. Styles he used, pretty much only an ultimate perfected form of Sarisu, which I've already said is the defensive blade form, and some Ataru, where he incorporated some exquisite offense. He wasn't always rarely was on the offensive, but when he was, he used the acrobatic style and the aggressive style to get in some quick strikes. And he actually learned Ataru first, but moved on to Sarisu to make up for the lack of defense. Why do I have him here? Because he has absolute blade defense. Like, really the only time we see his guard pierced is when Force use is in play, strong Force use, like someone like Count Dooku, where his Force walls are breached, or severe physical strikes. Basically, if it's just blade-to-blade combat, you're not breaking his guard. And he has insane endurance. He could fight all day. He withstood a raging Anakin on Mustafar for several minutes. He's a horse. Feats. Defeated Grievous. He was able to keep up and combat Grievous and was actually picked because Mace Windu himself said ObiWan Kenobi was the best matchup against Grievous because of Sarisu. On Mustafar, he defeated Anakin. This Anakin was stated to be a superior combatant. However, Kenobi was that smart of a duelist and knew everything about him and was able to hold him off until he found the opportunity. And he also defeated Maul and pretty much one-shot him in Rebels, as well as he was able to defeat Het in when he was starting Exile. And this Het would go on to become Darth Krayt. And at that time, Het had, as a Padawan, defeated Anya Kuro, who was very dangerous, and also pressed and I believe beat Anakin in the Clone Wars. So yeah, Obi-Wan's defense is crazy. That's why I had to have him at number 9. Now number 8, Count Dooku in his prime. Style, Makashi. My favorite form, honestly, is the best form. It is the one lightsaber style specifically made to combat other lightsaber users. Why do I have him here? His absolute precision as a duelist and his craftiness, as well as his patience. Feats. This is the dude that fought Yoda multiple times and did not get his ass kicked. Yes, he did not beat Yoda. He was not going to beat Yoda, but Yoda did not beat him. That is a very big deal. And it was well known that when he was a Jedi, he was considered on par with Mace and just below Yoda. And he also completely shit-stomped Clone Wars Anakin and Kenobi. He actually fought them several times. For once in a while, they punished him, or not punished, but they pushed him. But besides that, he was able to breach Kenobi's defense, withstand Anakin's assaults. And yeah, in the Clone Wars, he's the reason my boy Anakin had to get a new arm. As well as he taught Grievous what he knew and was easily able to contend with Grievous in sparring sessions. Yeah, because of his nature, which is to be pretty much a snake with his strikes, to be patient, look for his opening, to fence you, to outduel you with precise minimal strikes, I had to put Count Dooku on the list. Number 7, Darth Vader overall. Styles, he had a lot of them, but mostly it was Jim-So, Makashi, Sarisu, and some Juyo. Juyo is the 7th form, takes some parts from all the other 6 forms, but it is basically an enraged, infuriating, sophisticated assault. Why do I have Darth Vader here? Because of his strength as a duelist. He was an incredible power duelist. His knowledge of all the forms and his knowledge of and strategy, as well as his patience, which was usually perfectly mixed in with aggression. So as soon as that opportunity opened, he was on you. Now, what are his feats? Well, we know Nightfall Vader, which was before he was in his suit, shit stomped Jedi's like Battle Master Syndralig, wasn't even close. We know that he easily manhandled Starkiller, who actually was a formidable duelist. And he, at one point, took out 6 Jedi by himself in dueling. He was that fast. It was even stated Knights couldn't keep up with his movements, and that everything they tried, he easily countered. So yeah, because of his overall package and his discipline, I gotta put Darth Vader at number 7. Number 6, Darth Krayt. Styles, Juyo, Ataru, which is, like I said, the acrobatic form, and Xian/Jim-So. Why do I have Darth Krayt here? By the way, some of the sources might say they used other things, but this is just my assessment based on how they dueled compared to how Styles were supposed to be. Why do I have him here? His speed, his offensive onslaught, and his prowess as an offensive duelist. Feats. He bullied Cade Skywalker, beat the shit out of him. There's nothing Cade could do except try to survive, and his mom had to save him at one point. He destroyed Darth Warlock, who was actually a very good duelist. It was one of the strongest Sith at the time. Absolutely bodied him. You pretty much all of the Darth Krayt battles we see, he puts them on the defensive. They can just try to hold out. And he actually, before significantly improving as Darth Krayt, when he was a Jedi, he battled and was able to hold his own for a bit against Exile Kenobi, who is arguably stronger than Revenge of the Sith Kenobi. So yeah, because of his offensive gifts, his speed, like he speed blitzed Jedi. They weren't officially knights, but they were about Emperor Guard level who could contend with Vader. Because of his speed and prowess as an offensive duelist, I had to put Krayt at number 6. Number 5, this is where people might get iffy. I could also switch these two out. Now, Obi-Wan and Dooku, like I mentioned before, are very close. They can be switched out. I'm not mad. As well as Darth Krayt and this character, Darth Kaitis. Style,
Personally, I think he was a master of Naman, which is, it takes from every other style to be balanced, as well as offer other opportunities with things like martial arts or force use, as well as Surisu. Why do I think Kaitis is 5th? His battle IQ. Kaitis was a genius. He was always a genius, even as a Jedi. He was considered up there with Luke in terms of his brilliance, and they created styles together. His tactics in battle. No, he did not fight you clean. No, he usually did not fight you straight up, but he won. His guerrilla warfare tactics were amazing. And he's actually very quick. He was able to contend with a Jedi strike team while he was injured, which included Battle Master Kyle Katarn. Kyle Katarn, before he was formally trained, defeated Inquisitor Jarek, who was one of Sidious's best agents. So yeah, Kyle Katarn was a beast. Kaitis considered him a threat, but he's like, I'll be fine. He also was able to contend with Jaina even when he literally got shot in the leg. Eventually lost an arm. He was still holding his own. Basically, why I put him here, there were several statements throughout his time that he was only 2nd to Luke as a duelist. In fact, when he was injured, Jaina rolled up on him. He's like, yo, if this is Luke, I might be fucked. But he's like, if it's anyone else, even with one arm, I can take him in a duel. I'm fine. So yeah, Darth Kaitis was actually a beast. He was similar to our next character in that he never emphasized his greatness as a duelist, but it was there. It definitely was. Just because he didn't talk about it, just because he didn't focus on it, he used a lot of other things, doesn't mean he was a great duelist. Anyways, number 4, Darth Sidious. Style: Juyo, Ataru, and some Surisu. Why do I have Sidious here? Sidious was an absolute beast. He was a speed demon, as well as he was knowledgeable on every form of lightsaber combat. He was a very shifty fighter. You didn't know how he was going to hit you. Now, feats: contended with Yoda, pressed Yoda. Eventually, he did get disarmed by Yoda, but the fact that he was contending with a pissed off Yoda, although, Yoda was kind of suppressed at the time because of the death of all his comrades, but at the same time, Yoda was trying to beat his ass. There's no mistake about it. And Sidious still held his own. He toyed around with Savage Opress and Darth Maul when they're gaining massive amounts of power. Eventually, he did just ragdoll them with the Force, but he was having a fun time contending with them, and they were no jokes. As well as he was able to contend with, for a brief period of time, Amped Mace Windu. These two were going at it. Eventually, Mace got the better of him as far as lightsaber dueling, although it will forever be, kind of up for air if Sidious threw it. He definitely threw it at the end to milk it, to sell it to Anakin, but during the duel, I don't think he threw it. I think he lost. But anyways, the fact that he contended with Mace and Yoda just fine puts him easily number 4. Actually, I wouldn't be mad if you put him at number 3, but I prefer him at number 4. Number 3, I have Mace Windu. Styles, pretty much Vapad. Vapad was a variant of Juyo, focuses on your inner darkness, tames it, channels it, and you become an absolute offensive demon. Why do I have him here? His strength as a duelist, once he laid into you with his Vapad, which is named after an alien from his planet. Basically, their strikes are unpredictable and they are lethally fast. He's just versatile, and Vapad, you have to some degree master every other style. So he can go defensive if he needs to, if he wants to, especially if he doesn't want to hurt anybody. But when he goes on the offense, it's a rough time for pretty much anyone. Feats: he was easily able to fight Dooku. When Mace was younger and Dooku was a Jedi, they were considered equals, or at least relative to each other. However, Mace did get stronger throughout the wars. So did Dooku, but Dooku more so in the Force. And when we see Mace in Revenge of the Sith, it's pretty clear he was well above Dooku as a duelist. And he bodied Jango Fett. You might be like, hey, that's not really dueling feat. It's a lightsaber feat when you consider that Jango Fett was able to barehanded just completely destroy 6 Jedi Knights on a strike team and contend with Clone Wars Kenobi pretty fairly. And Mace manhandled him. So yeah, because of that, I have to put Mace at number 3. Number 2, my boy Yoda. Styles, pretty much Ataru. Now, why do I have Yoda here? Pure speed. He's very small, so the angles he takes and strikes is ridiculous, as well as very hard to hit him. And his offensive flurries are unique in the verse. Feats, He once gave 3 Jedi Masters the okay to try to fucking kill him with their blades. He didn't have his blade out. They couldn't tag him. He's that fast when it's in a dueling setting. It's ridiculous. He contended with Dooku on multiple occasions. While he didn't outright beat Dooku, Dooku was going to lose if he stayed longer to fight. And Yoda was kind of holding back when he fought Dooku because he did have love for Dooku because that used to be his Padawan. And he disarmed Darth Sidious towards the end of Revenge of the Sith. So for these reasons, and it's widely acknowledged he was the best of his time, I have to give Yoda number 2. Number 1, you already knew it was coming. The GOAT, Coleman Trevor. Just kidding. Luke Skywalker. Styles, all of them. He had the whole fucking buffet. Why? Why do I have him here? Because he's basically God. Now, feats, even as a young Jedi, he was able to best Vader, physically overwhelm him. He was able to later on compete with Dark Empire Darth Sidious in lightsaber combat, a Sidious that was stronger than his prior iterations. And at one point, throughout the battles, especially the Yuuzhan Vong era, everyone that saw him fucking fighting on the battlefield were like, yo, we didn't fight Luke. We fought like 10 to 100 different Luke Skywalkers. There was 100 of them bitches. That's how fast he was as a duelist. Luke is by far the fastest duelist we've seen. The most well-rounded. He literally uses and implements every style. Yeah, he favors some. He favors Ataru. He created his own style, the 3-ring offense. He does use some Djimso and Sarisu from his days learning under ObiWan Kenobi. But yeah, Luke has it all. Physically, he's the most physically gifted Jedi ever. For those reasons, Luke at number 1. Anyways, let me know what you think. If you agree with my list, let me know down below. If you disagree, tell me what your list would be. Hit me up in Discord. Follow my Patreon to support my channel. I encourage you to go check it out. Look at how you can donate, the many ways you can help me. Great deals there. Anyways, like, subscribe, comment. It's been your boy, Sir Splash, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.